Alright, gods and goddesses in training, welcome back to the channel. So right now I am at my ancestral home, and I recently just visited this very tiny Shiva temple with 3 Shiva lingams, and it was very powerful, man. Just being there, my crown started buzzing, my feet started buzzing, you know, and I felt my root chakra, I felt, you know, all my energies kind of permeating to a certain point, and I got all the downloads that I needed. So I'm glad that I came here. And right now, you know, you can hear the dogs outside. So before we were entering, there were these black dogs outside, which is very symbolic of Kalabhairava, right? So he has like the black dog, which is very interesting. Irregardless, today I wanted to talk about how to make your body like a musical instrument, okay? Because we just treat our bodies kind of like a trash can, like a dustbin, you know what I mean? Just eat whatever, you know, do whatever. But when you start treating your body and observing the type of energy that you have, you know, you have a yin energy and a yang energy within your nature. And when you start to understand how to ground your nervous energy down into your physical body, it's very, very useful, okay? So one advice that I would give you is pay attention to your pelvis. When you notice that your pelvis is going forward and your belly is essentially being opened up, or kind of like you're pushing and jutting your energy out like this, it's more yin. The yang version would be you pull your pelvis back, so it would be more so behind you, and that's more of a grounding gesture. So even when you're communicating with someone and you start noticing that as you put your pelvis back, it changes the way that you're speaking and your presence, your groundedness, that yang energy. And when even, let's say, you're about to talk about something more intimate, or you're talking about something that will connect with someone, then you tilt your pelvis more forward like this. So kind of thinking in terms of that can be very, very helpful. The second thing that we check it out. So the second thing that I want you to focus on are the legs, okay? Oftentimes we will store tension in a lot of places, and one of those places is we clench our anus, and we place a lot of tension in our legs, as well as you'll notice our face shows a lot of tension. So we'll show, you know, this kind of facial armoring that we'll do. And a lot of us in culture, we're taught to suppress our emotions a lot and not allow our emotions. So when we get an energy block, that energy is not really flowing, right? So we feel that this is not allowed, or I can't do this, or this is weird to do. We start judging ourselves, and judgment starts to constrict us. Instead, if you see it as noticing the awareness of the tension that's already present within you, and kind of sending it the love that it deserves, sending it the acceptance that it deserves, you'll start to notice you naturally opening up and being more in the flow, okay? Thirdly, you want to understand that your legs are slightly spread apart as you're standing, okay? I've noticed that as I'm kickboxing, you know, my stance, I start to kind of open myself up like this, whereas you kind of have to have a hunched back, right, to protect the sides of your face and shoulders like this. So just something as simple as you just placing your feet, like instead of like this, you open it up. So like imagine they're going sideways, right? So one leg is facing this way, one leg is facing that way. That's also a natural way to ground. Also, clenching your feet, the bottom of your feet. So kind of like just wiggling your toes, or feeling the heel on the floor is a very, very powerful thing that you can do. And Another thing that you can do is, I like to do this, actually I was observing this today, is my spine, right? So sometimes, a lot of the times, our spine juts forward or juts back like this. And when you can be more observant about the spine and what it's doing, how it's being, you can maneuver away, then it can be a lot more natural for you to hold your spine up, because that's, the Ida Pingala, the Sushumna, is the main central channel with which it flows. By the way, guys, I was talking to my father today, and it was very interesting because he was telling me about, of course, we own this small temple. It used to be in a different location. Now it's moved to this home. However, one of my great-great-grandparents, you could say paternal grandparents from that side, his family also owns this kind of, I believe the name was Hangshishwari, if I am not mistaken. However, that is like a version of Kali's energy, right? And that version, they built an entire temple based on that particular being. So there's a lot of interesting synchronicities that are happening right now as I'm here, and I'm just trying to observe what it's going to tell me for my level up, my next level. Because starting from February, I am again beginning my SR journey, like, properly, and I'm gonna go for 80 days, guys. So that's gonna be a very big challenge for me, and I believe that there is going to be a lot of attunements, a lot of downloads, and a lot of abundance within this time, okay? There's a lot of mosquitoes here, so I might want to actually move out of here. When you want to understand that your body is being finely tuned all the time through things like yoga, meditation, as well as any kind of movement practices that you're doing. So throughout these 2 days, I haven't really found the time to do any kind of movement practices, but I've just been observing the way that my body naturally does things, right? And I will start to notice that, okay, yes, yoga, the original idea, is about union, right? It's you getting back to the source again, instead of you separating yourself internally, fragmenting yourself internally. So I believe Emmeline was talking also about this internal family therapy, right? So yeah, parts work has always been very, very powerful for me. The Raja Yoga, that they believe in having a very strict kind of moral conduct, right? And so I think it's very, very powerful when we can maintain that internal yoga. Yes, there's an external yoga, and you can do these asanas and moves and exercises. I mean, nowadays yoga is just, you should just call it exercise, not really yoga, right? Because real yoga is that divine union. So understanding that, your body becomes a temple, an actual temple for that source energy to go through you, right? If you're thinking in that way, you're going to actually do this thing a lot differently. Let me tell you that. Because once you recognize that the source is running through me, right? The source is the plug. That's where I get my vajra, my energy, right? My life force energy from that one divine spark that is within everybody. If I'm going based off of a higher order and my own intuition, my body's intuition, as I muscle test for things, I'm going to start to actually become a yogi in a sense, because I'm merging with that divine consciousness. That nectar is feeding me and allowing me to learn more about myself and my self-knowledge. So I've been thinking about this, because think about it, the Raja is king, right? King yoga, it's very royal, this understanding of this royal radiance that we all carry within ourselves. So start to really embody this, start to really, become almost like a connoisseur of this thing, rather than being scattered based on other people's systems and methods and techniques, right? The technique is great, okay? Leave it where it's at. Find a way to adapt it according to your own soul's clarity and presence, right? So you have your own unique way of doing things. Start to understand that as you move your physical body, as you exercise, as you energize yourself, and you start even noticing where your body places its tension, you will start to notice naturally where your body is stuck, okay? And this pelvis observation is very, very powerful in thinking and flirting with people, right? Like, you notice your physical body sometimes shutting down, or like maybe your heart's beating faster, or you're overthinking something, or you're getting triggered by something that someone is saying. It's a process of meditating, and again, we call it natural grounding. So it's a natural Shakti meditation, observing what the natural feminine does. You know, we all have a natural feminine too within ourselves. Everybody has this life force energy, this Shakti flow within them. So what makes your Shakti flow? What makes your power grow, right, in a sense? Because there's certain things that give you that blast of energy, whether it be a certain phrase, word, or mantra, whether it be a certain posture or light code or asana that you're in, sitting in, even when you're in a seated posture and you're maybe placing a hand on your lap, or you're just doing Gyan Mudra, you know, to download spiritual information. It's all according to your own frequency, the own vibe that you're trying to generate. And when you make your movements more purposeful, you'll notice the power with which you move. You'll start to tune your instrument like that. So the more you remind yourself, this is my mission, this is my purpose, you're going to start noticing naturally things are unfolding and processing as you start to move in this thing. So think about this today. I'm gonna go and receive the rest of these attunements. I wanted to quickly make a video for you guys so that you have this in your storage unit today, okay, in your mental world today. Check it out, guys. So there's a little like pond outside here as well. Of course, it's got to be symbolic of water, because we are the flow state path working at Primal Sutra. Let's get it today, Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll be back soon. Os.